Welcome back as another talk on what effect Achilles tendon ruptures have on professional athletes, this time focusing on professional football. As you can see David Beckham there with his Achilles tendon rupture. It's commonly happened in many top flight leagues around the world and happened on the world stage very recently in the Euros. Number of top flight players have been affected, and the question is, what effect does this have on their careers going forward? Are they just as good? Do they have the same amount of output as what they had before the Achilles tendon injury? And as always, it's based on this article published in the Foot and Ankle International, which is sought to answer most of these questions. I'm going to go through that today. So the first question is, how many of these professional footballers actually return to play after their Achilles tendon is repaired? And what we find in professional football is it's actually really good, so up to 95%, which is much better than the NFL and the NBA, return after an Achilles tendon repair, and that's an excellent result. Funnily enough, in the Major League Soccer, that number is lower. It's around 70 to 78% returning after an Achilles tendon repair, and it's difficult to know exactly why. We'll hopefully look into that in the future. What is the time to return to play? Well, it's generally about 6.5 months or so, give or take a month and a half on the average return in terms of returning to practice. So that's not returning to match play, that's returning to practice with the team. What we actually find is that players that have been involved in international games actually return almost a month, up to a half a month to a month quicker than those who don't. And that's probably due to access to facilities and rehab and those sorts of things. Average time to return to play in terms of competitive matches is about 9 to 10 months, which is actually better than NFL players, but it's still a considerable period of time. In terms of the effect that an Achilles tendon repair has on the number of games a season these players play, they basically make about 82% of the games in their first season compared to what they played in the season or two before they had the rupture, so not too bad, but still missing almost 20%. And even in the second season, they're still actually missing even more games on average than what they were playing before suffering the Achilles tendon rupture, so certainly the output is affected from these players. In terms of minutes played, we also see a reduction in the amount of minutes they're able to play, so it's about 71% of what they were playing prior to suffering the Achilles tendon injury and then having surgery, so that is a major reduction in their output. And then in terms of what's their risk of rupturing it again, we saw in the NFL players it was around 15%. In soccer players, professional soccer players, it's around about 8%, and there's David Beckham's Achilles tendon injury there. So that hopefully answers some of the questions you've got regarding the recovery and output of people that suffer an Achilles tendon rupture in professional football. If you like that, take a look at our NBA players, or if you really like the video today, please subscribe to the Foot and Ankle Orthopedic Surgeon. Thank you very much for watching. We really appreciate you listening to our videos, and please give us some suggestions on what we can look at in the future.